So I'm gonna do another story time video since it seems like you guys really liked that last one I made. I think I've gotten a lot of new subscribers from that video, so thank you guys so much for subscribing. You're freaking awesome! I love you! Maybe one day I can end up doing this as a career. I would absolutely love to do YouTube as a career. That's why I've done it for so many years. I've just been trying and then I'll get another job and I won't have time to do it, and so I'll stop doing it and then I'll come back to it and I'll be all excited and then I'll get another job and not have time for it again. But I am in a weird angle right now. I'm gonna just move on from that conversation, but before I get into this new story time I'm gonna tell you guys, I want to show you guys today's outfit because I freaking love it. Okay. Look at this top. I had to literally tie myself into it. That's what sucks about tops like these, is you have to literally, there's this one string and then you have to yourself tie it together while it's on your body. It's a little complicated. I also can barely move, I can't put my arms up very far. I can't breathe very well. No, I can breathe, but if it were a little tighter, I wouldn't be able to breathe. That's the problem with corsets and why you probably don't see people wearing them often a lot anymore, because it's hard to breathe in them. Okay, I'm gonna fix the angle. There we go. That's nice, isn't it? Okay. Oh, no it's not. There we go. Today, I'm gonna tell you guys about the time I got really upset that the coffee wasn't made the way I wanted it to be. Now, this sounds pretty intense because it was. I'm gonna go into a lot of backstory into why I was so upset, so that you guys understand and don't think I'm crazy, because honestly, with no context, it just sounds like I went crazy over coffee. I actually did go crazy over coffee, and I will explain to you why. So, here it goes. So I ended up moving a lot. Okay, you'll hear me say this a lot. I've moved a lot. There was a point in time where I was recording everything, and there's a whole video I made about me moving. You guys can watch it. It's a cute little, what's the word for it? Amateur video, if that makes sense, because I'm not a great YouTuber, so I just kind of was editing footage together and doing what I could to make a little vlog for the first time. I have multiple vlogs though. I was vlogging for a while years ago, but I stopped. So this was one of them, me coming back to vlogging a little bit. I also was documenting what was happening between me and my neighbors. So things went insane, basically. You can watch the story unfold on my YouTube channel, but I'm not going to be putting videos in here simply because it's too traumatizing for me still to go through and watch all of that stuff. But it got to the point where they were harassing the hell out of me, and they were able to tell the cops that I was harassing them. And then it got to the point where my landlords weren't doing anything because because these people, my neighbors, were so manipulative that they were able to get my landlords to think I was the crazy one, because I was actually going crazy from their harassment. I will not lie about that. They drove me insane. It was absolutely horrible, so embarrassing. You know what? I bet I could pay money and get the police footage from their body cams and show you guys what it was like. I actually one time paid money to get the recording of me calling the police for the first time so that I could send that to my landlords so that they believed me, and they still didn't believe me, even though I went and paid money to the police station to get the video, or no, it wasn't a video, it was an audio recording of me calling the police and saying, these people are harassing me, I don't know what to do, they're keeping me up all night by making noise, please help. My landlord still didn't do anything because these people were so manipulative. It was really scary. They ended up manipulating me into thinking that I was in the wrong, and if you know what narcissistic abuse is like, that's basically what these people were doing. It was horrible. So I ended up ending my lease early, even though I lived there and paid rent there. my landlords weren't doing anything. So I decided I had to end my lease and get the hell out of there before I actually went so insane that something worse happened. It got to the point where I was walking through my house one time with shoes on, which is something that really bothered my neighbors, so I never did it, right? But because they did not care about making noise for me, and they kept me up all hours of the night, you guys, I ended up recording them making noise all night. I have a full video where you can see me kind of going crazy for an entire night, sitting there recording myself with my microphone. I have this big microphone that I'm not using in videos right now, but maybe I should. It's just harder to edit videos that way. It takes a lot more editing. But I sat there with my microphone against the ground because they lived below me, and they made consistent bangs for like 3 hours straight in the middle of the night. I sent that to my landlords. They still didn't do anything. These people were actually trying to make me go crazy by sleep depriving me, and it worked. I tell you, it worked. So anyway, got to the point where I was like, I'm ending my lease. One day I was walking through my house. I was actually about to move. I was about to get the hell out of there, and I was making plans to. So I was starting to gather my stuff and get ready to move, right? Well, what happens when you do that? You make some noise, okay? When you're moving furniture and you're 5'4" like me and you're by yourself, you're gonna make some noise on accident. Even though I was terrified of these people, I still had to make noise to move out. So the thing is I was always very, very quiet because these people scared the crap out of me. Anytime I made noise, they would freak out, and then they would consistently make noise all night, whether or not I made any noise throughout the day. It didn't matter what I did. They still wanted me to go crazy, so they made noise all hours of the night. So one day I decided, you know what? I'm not gonna walk quietly today. These people are making me move out of my apartment and end my lease early. I'm gonna just put on the biggest, clunkiest shoes I have, and I'm gonna start moving. So I was walking through my house. I went out to my front porch to water one of my plants, and this neighbor of mine came out and started to scream at me. It got so violent and loud that my other neighbor came outside and started recording. Okay? So I have a video of this man screaming at me.
You've been terrorizing me for a year!
You terrorized the PTSD starter for a year.
Oh, shut up!
I have emailed
Shut up!
for a year!
The fucking landlord thinks this is just a petty back and forth
From
because
and
of you.
to you directly.
Raven!
Admitting
Stop talking to me! Just leave me the fuck alone! I just want to be left alone! Leave me alone! Leave me alone! Leave me alone!
I couldn't get sleep.
Prove it!
Okay. I have to
You've been saying that for a year and a half, and that's your excuse!
I told the man that I love not to walk around with shoes on.
Oh my god! Shut the fuck up, Raven!
You shut the fuck up.
Alright, I'm going
You
inside.
came at me on my porch as I probably was doing something.
Inside, so the fuck.
Okay.
So I was making videos about this on YouTube the whole time. I was documenting this. And I used that video to send to the police so that they had proof of him screaming at me, you know? However, they said I couldn't easily get a, what's it called? Restraining order because we aren't in a domestic relationship. And because we were neighbors, it made it especially hard because we were neighbors. How would we avoid each other when we're neighbors? So I ended up not getting a restraining order while I was still living there, and then when I tried to, they denied it because who knows why. I think because we weren't in a domestic partnership. We weren't together, and that's what restraining orders are usually used for. But anyway, I had made a YouTube video calling him out and saying, "You look crazy. Please stop harassing me. Look at this video of you screaming at me on our front porch, or on my front porch in front of our house." It was really terrifying, and I made sure to block out our address so that you couldn't see where the house was. You wouldn't know unless you lived in the exact area and you knew where we lived. That's literally what I did. I made sure. I also blurred his entire face so you wouldn't know the guy unless you knew him personally. So there shouldn't have been any problem with that, right? Me posting a video about it. When I had blurred his face, I blurred the address so you didn't know where we were. You didn't know who he was. You just basically hear him screaming and losing his effing mind, which, you know what? I'll put a clip of that in here. Because shortly after that, you know what he did? So I ended up finally getting away. I moved out, okay? And I was in such a bad place mentally, and I didn't know where to go, and I didn't have anybody other than my family who lives in a complete other town, and in a town that specifically I never want to go back to because that's where a lot of my trauma is at. So I chose not to go back to my hometown. I chose to, like a dummy, okay? You guys don't do this. Don't do this. I posted on Nextdoor. You know, the Nextdoor app where you can post about dogs barking and missing dogs and, you know, your neighbor not putting their trash in the right spot, whatever people want to talk about on Nextdoor. Well, what I posted on Nextdoor was, "I'm in desperate need of a place to live. Somebody please help me." Again, as a single woman, never do this. Bad idea. Bad idea. So, there's also, in my moving vlog, at the end, you see me finally get to this house that I'm staying in, and it's with this old lady. Also, by the way, I feel horrible because I think she ended up hating me because I called her old lady so many times. But that was the best way I could describe her. I wasn't sure how... I mean, I never thought about it, okay? I should have been more mindful. Don't call people old lady, okay? She was very nice. We were friends at first. So anyway, I was living with her. I moved in, I brought my cat and my dog, and I was living with her, and things felt great. She had this little natural area behind her house, and I, like a dummy, was filming YouTube videos there, okay? Mind you, my neighbors most likely had found my YouTube channel by now, and they were very pissed, okay? So one day, I was outside in that little natural area smoking because I'm a horrible smoker, chain smoker, and because I'm going through so much freaking stress all the time. And then I went inside, back into this lady's house, and then, you know, because I was a chain smoker at the time, I went back outside about 20 minutes later, and I found the absolute creepiest note ever. I will show a video because I got footage of myself right after it happened. I kind of was terrified that the person who left the note was still around, so I was kind of like, okay, I'm gonna press record and like film myself just in case something happens, because I tell you guys, I'll put the clip in here. The scenery for this was like a horror movie, okay? I was in the middle of this like forest next to a pond where nobody was around, and all of a sudden I find a note in a place that I was literally less than 20 minutes before. So I found the creepiest note outside where I'm staying today. Somebody has stalked me to the point of finding out where I'm staying to scare me even more. You are crazy and you cannot see it or accept it. Instead, you want to call other people crazy. That is not acceptable. And just because it worked on me at first, it does not mean it will work anymore. I know the truth, and so do the police, and if you keep stalking me, they will just have more evidence, and I'm going to get a restraining order on you, especially now that you've stalked me across town and left a note. That is scary. He printed out a picture of me, you guys. That is so weird. You took way too much time out of your day to do this. Just stop Okay? You are very creepy, and this is literally hard to believe. Like, everybody I've talked to about this say that this is hard to even imagine anybody taking time out of their day to print a photo out of somebody with a printer and bring it specifically to them when they don't even have an address right now. So he's been watching my videos, you guys, and found out where I am. Like a creep. That is stalker behavior. Leave me alone. I blurred your face in the YouTube video I made about you. That is legal use. Don't do a privacy claim on a video. That is legal use. Because I blurred your face the whole time. And that's what YouTube is saying I need to do. I already did that, buddy. So go f yourself. Somebody had come and gone within, it felt like really quick. Like it might have been even 10 minutes because I was that much of a chain smoker. It felt like this person had been watching me. And then they put the note there as soon as I went inside. And then they left. Like, that's what it felt. It felt like they might still be around. I was absolutely terrified. Until I went inside and realized who the note was from. Okay? So these people knew that I was asking for help because I was asking for help on my YouTube channel, right? So they'd found my channel. The note that they put out for me said, "Do not help this girl," which is really entirely screwed up and terrifying that they would even try. They would try to stop a girl from getting help that is trying to flee their harassment. They're acting like they tried to help me in a way, which is insane. Insane, okay? By the way, this is a couple. It was a male and a female that was doing this all to me. And I think by the end of it, they broke up because she realized he was insane. Anyway, so I went inside and I wasn't scared anymore once I realized they left the note. Guess how I realized they left the note? The dude couldn't wait more than 5 minutes after he left the note to then do a privacy claim on the video I posted of him screaming at me. He did a privacy claim on YouTube, which, by the way, if you get 3 privacy strikes, your channel can get taken down completely forever. So he was trying to decimate my YouTube channel before I even had any subscribers. I had like 400 people subscribed to me and almost nobody actually watching my videos at the time. I still don't. So it made no sense that he was so freaked out, even though I blurred his face. Okay? In the comments that he left to YouTube about the privacy claim that he did for my video, he put, can see face or face needs to be blurred. His face was blurred already. I cannot stress that enough. So at this point, knowing that he was actually stalking me in real life and figured out where I was by me posting little videos by this pond, yeah, he figured out where I was. Really, really, really creepy shit. I took the video down because also I didn't want my YouTube channel to be decimated because of this absolute creep harassing me. It was really terrifying. So I ended up making another video, which I'll post a little clip here, where I'm just so livid, but I'm also like, dude, I'm not fucking scared of you. I'm not scared of you. You are going insane, and the way that you are acting is proving that you're insane. I don't think you realize how you're coming off, and you're trying to make me seem like the one who's scary. The dude printed out a black and white photo of me from my Instagram page. That's what that photo is from. My Instagram page, where I do nude modeling. A lot of people know that. I don't care. And the fact is, he was trying to scare me even more when I was already in such a vulnerable position. So I went even more crazy and got really, 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 really freaked out. And I ended up going to a freaking safe house for women. Yeah, if you're watching this, you freaking creep, you freaked me out so bad that I had to go to a safe house and waste people's time because you were a freaking stalker creep. Okay? I ended up in a safe house. It was really actually nice. I'm not going to say details about them because you're not supposed to, but it was one of the nicest experiences I've ever had. So again, if you're watching this, you absolute creep, you helped me learn and grow and heal more than ever, because I got to go and be surrounded by some of the most amazing women you will never get to meet. So I'm really happy, actually, that happened. So I didn't get to stay there for very long, but what happened was, guess what I did, you guys? Just guess what I did at this point. You'll never guess. I posted on Nextdoor again for help. And I met a guy who had a fiance, and he said he'd worked at safe houses. That was a lie. He said that him and his fiance wouldn't have a problem with me staying at his house. That was a lie. They broke up about 3 weeks into me staying with them. Mind you, I was not attracted to this guy at all, and he was actually very creepy and really, really weird. So anyway, they broke up after I moved in with them. He said, again, that it was totally fine and that they always help women who are in danger. And so I was like, thank you so much. So he's the one who actually took me to the safe house and picked me up from the safe house. And this whole time he's in contact with his fiance. I met her. Things went really well when we met. But then when I got back from the safe house, they had broken up. And she had moved out, actually. So I don't think she was as okay with it as she said she was. And I don't think things were as black and white as I thought they were between these people. I think they had a very complicated relationship, and I think that this man helping a lot of women in danger was actually this man trying to take advantage of women who were in danger. He finds women who are in troubling situations and hopes that they'll fall for him. And taking advantage of vulnerable women in that way is actually really, really sick and disturbing. It's like how scammers take advantage of really old people. It's the same thing. Vulnerable people can get taken advantage of easily. And men like this will go searching for women who are in danger and in vulnerable situations and mentally unstable and unwell because of the danger that they've been in, and try to take advantage of them. And it actually ended up. So I'll tell you guys about the coffee story, and then I'll tell you guys how this story ended with that guy. So I ended up living with him alone, without his fiance, which was very creepy. And he ended up getting on my nerves quite a bit. There were little things that he would do that really creeped me out. The way that he spoke to me, the fact that he would try to cook me dinner and then get kind of clearly upset when I wasn't happy with the dinner, or like just, I would be honest, like tell him, this steak is a little undercooked or something like that. He would be like very butthurt about it. It almost seemed like he, in the beginning, tried to win me over by making me food a lot. And I was like grateful to be eating food, because I didn't really eat often back in the day. Back in these days especially, I was a little tiny stick. I did not eat. You can see it in my old videos. I was very skinny. So I'm eating now, you guys, by the way. So that's why I'm a little chubby. But so anyway, things started to get weirder and weirder with this guy. And I remember me getting more agitated and more agitated because there was something off about his energy. Just completely off. And I could tell that there was like something, he had like hidden motivations, right? And he started to, because I was showing no interest in him, and I was very interested in the man that I was talking to at the time. His name was Esteban. I'll never hear from him again. Really sad story, but maybe I'll tell you guys that. I probably won't tell you guys that story. Still a little bit hurtful to me to talk about that one. I still hope I'll hear from that guy, which is crazy of me. So anyway, I was entranced with him. I was just so happy that I'd heard from him again, and that maybe he'd be able to like help get me out of the situation. He didn't. I think he didn't believe me, honestly, that I was like in this weird situation with this guy. I think he thought we were screwing or something, for sure, which we weren't. This guy was really weird to me and he creeped me out. The video of him cutting my hair and like I just have this nervous thing where I just talk if I'm nervous around somebody. And you can see me just talking the entire time, just trying to ease the tension. No physical attraction whatsoever. Everything about him kind of weirded me out. I'm sorry if you're watching this, but I doubt you are, because you ended up hating me as well. Because I did not like you. A lot of guys will end up doing that. They'll just hate you because you don't have physical attraction to them. That's what an incel is. Involuntary celibate. You hate women because you think women hate you. It's just because they're not attracted to you sometimes. That doesn't mean you'll never have a woman if you don't try. Okay, am I making sense? No incel talk. I'm gonna move on. So, there was one morning when I was getting more and more agitated by this guy that I started to notice he was making the coffee really strong to the point where I couldn't drink it. And the first and only thing that I looked forward to in the mornings, especially while I was in this really weird state of living with a stranger and trying to figure my life out and trying to find a job and trying to hopefully eventually move out of this creepy guy's house, the one thing that I knew was consistent was that I would get to have coffee in the morning, okay? And that was nice. And then when it started to get to the point where I woke up and the coffee was way too, like, sludge almost, and that I couldn't even put enough oat milk in it that I could drink it. When it happened, like, at least 5 times, I remember, I finally snapped one day and I was like, you need to stop doing this with the coffee, please! I just need to have coffee in the morning and you need to make it to where I can drink it. Or just let me make it in the morning. Because it's sad because he thought he was doing something sweet for me. But I also don't know if he was trying to mess with me by making it way too disgustingly strong. So he was like trying to be like, oh, I was doing something nice for you, while also maybe sabotaging it on purpose so that I was unhappy. I don't know. But I eventually got to the point where I was like, can you please just let me make the coffee for myself? Because another thing is, he wouldn't drink it. He would just make it for me. So it's almost like he didn't know how to make coffee. Or that the fact that he wasn't making it for himself, he didn't care how he made it. I don't know. But it really upset me because coffee is my shit, okay? And you don't fuck my coffee, okay? Imagine waking up and you're like, oh, I'm gonna go get coffee. I smell it. And it's just not at all how you would make it. Like, it sucks. I know. I don't know how else to explain it. Okay, I'm gonna move on and tell you guys how the story ends because this is gonna be a long video, isn't it? Okay, so after staying with that guy for a while, I finally got a job, which was great for me. And then I discovered that something was missing. Something of mine was missing, okay? Mind you, this is around the time that my grandfather passed away. I have a story time I will post about that because it's pretty interesting. But my grandfather passed away during this time, so guess what? I was even more mentally out of it. I was there when he died, so I was going through quite a bit mentally. So it took me about a month after my grandfather died for me to notice that there was something of mine that was missing. What was missing, might you ask? The one thing that was mentally helping me. My mushrooms that I would microdose. So I had this huge jar. It was this big and it was packed all the way to the top almost of mushroom powder that I had personally gotten from my father as a present. I was so happy about them. They were really good shrooms. I ground them into a powder and I told this guy that I was staying with that he could microdose too anytime that he wanted. Because for me, this jar is gonna last me like a year, okay? Even if I shared it with this dude, because I tell him, when you microdose, you only use 1/8 of a teaspoon. That's all you need to microdose. So, in effect, if he were microdosing, it would have lasted still about a year. Literally, if both of us were. Because you're not doing it every single day, normally. So anyway, I noticed that I went to go microdose one day and it wasn't there. And then I realized, I actually haven't microdosed in over a month. I actually haven't even thought about it or looked for it because I've been so out of it from my grandfather's death. So I end up asking him, I'm like, where did my mushrooms go? And he goes, oh, I don't know. I haven't seen them at all. I don't know. And I believe him. Until a few days go by and I realize I'm not finding them at all, anywhere. And guess what? One thing about me is I don't lose stuff. Okay? If I don't ever lose things, how would I lose something like magic mushrooms? Just tell me that. Tell me that. Exactly. I wouldn't, because those are very special to me. They were literally, I wasn't on any medication at this time, so the mushrooms were the only thing that I had to really help me sustain anything, sustain any type of mental stability. That was what I used, and it actually helped me while I had it. So I slowly started to realize, what if he took them from me, and what if he's been using it as a way to make me go even more crazy? Maybe this is just me theorizing. It might be, but that's kind of what I started to think. So one day, I took him to work. He was letting me use his car. It was a very strange situation. But because I was looking for a job, and he knew that I was going crazy at his house by myself all the time with nothing to do, he started to let me use his car. So I would end up taking him to work and then going back to his house. And I just opened his bedroom door for a peek. And I was like kind of shocked at the mess that I saw. But I proceeded forward. I knew this was wrong of me, but I also was like, okay, I need to know if this guy is stealing from me, okay? Sorry. I opened up the first drawer I opened up in his bathroom, and guess what I found? The magic mushroom jar that I had. I'd written like little cursive letters on it and everything. Magic mushrooms. It was such a cute little jar, and I was like, holy shit. Okay, I found my mushrooms. I open it up. It's completely empty. Completely empty, mind you. It was like grams upon grams upon grams of mushrooms that had been grinded up into a powder and filled this jar less than a month ago. That jar was full. So tell me how it's all gone in this amount of time. So then I start to realize, okay, this is probably why this guy's behavior has really irked me. He's been on mushrooms the whole time I'm living with him. He was on my mushrooms the whole time I was living with him. It drove me crazy to just know that. The reason that he was so, first of all, hard to talk to. Second of all, he was out of it a lot of the time, and it was hard to talk to him. It made no sense sometimes the way that he was behaving. Now it made sense to me. He wasn't microdosing my mushrooms. He was taking enough each day to where he was just So I got really mad. You can tell, right? I'm not even nearly as mad as I was back then. But I confronted him about it when he got off work. I said, I found my mushrooms. I also weirdly found one of my scrunchies in his drawer, which really freaked me out. He didn't have long hair. He did not have long hair. So why did he take one of my scrunchies? Mind you, my favorite scrunchie that I'd been wondering where it had gone for like over a month. And he took my coconut oil that I used on my hair. Freaking weirdo jerk. Anyway, it was like he was doing things to make me go crazy. Taking things that I used to on my hair normally, like I used on a consistent basis. I used that scrunchie and that coconut oil. Why did he take those two things? And my mushrooms. So anyway, I confronted him about it, and I went the off, you guys. I went off pretty bad, screaming at him because I was just so unnerved that he would steal from me during my grandfather's death at a point when I was the most vulnerable. Not to mention I was vulnerable the entire time I was living with this guy, and he knew that. He was just taking advantage of a vulnerable woman, taking her stuff from her, taking things from her that would help her mentally be stable. That blows my freaking mind. So what I ended up doing was I told him that if he didn't, I mean, I knew I couldn't really get the police involved because it was magic mushrooms that he stole from me, but I still was very angry, and I told him that he needed to pay for me to get a house. He needed to pay for me to move out. Because guess what? All the time I was living with him, he promised me that's what he would do. And he took months and months of just kind of, oh yeah, I'll get to it. Oh yeah, I'm just trying to figure this and this out. Oh yeah, I'll just get to it. To the point of driving me even more insane, wondering, am I trapped in this guy's house? Is he trying to keep me here? Because he would do things that didn't make sense, that weren't proactive to me moving out. You know what I'm saying? So it started to get to me and make me wonder if he was trying to keep me trapped in his house. And hoping that maybe I'd change my mind one day about him and just fall into his lap. No, never gonna happen, especially with how entranced I was with Esteban. I love how I say his name, Esteban. Anyway, so I convinced him to pay for me to get a house, and I met the nicest landlord ever, and he let me move into a house, and the creepy guy I was staying with, paid for the first month of rent. So I struggled there for a while because I wasn't able to pay the rent in this house. I was not, I'll be honest with you. So eventually my landlord and me came to a deal about this house down the street. This house down the street had just been moved out of by this, I won't lie to you, alcoholic who never ever once cleaned the place. For 8 years, he never cleaned the place. So my landlord said, if you can clean up this place enough for you to move in, you can move in and not pay very much for rent if you would like. He basically called this place a shack. So me and my friend, we came here and started cleaning up the place. And I will go further into detail about that. I have videos that I'm gonna post. I tried to document as much of the renovation as possible of this house. I'll show you guys clips in the future of what this house looked like before we painted it purple. And then also the kitchen still needs to be finished. And I think I'm gonna have that done soon. So I can't freaking wait to show you guys that restoration process. We also restored the bathroom in here. The bathroom was a horrific mess before I moved in. So we renovated basically the whole house, almost, except for the kitchen. I got new carpets in here before I moved in. The carpet before was absolutely disgusting. So yeah, my landlord actually helped me with a few things, but I had to do a lot of it myself. Me and my friend painted this by ourselves. Purple and white. The other walls are white. You're just seeing the purple walls behind me. Now, I live here. This is the house that I'm talking about that was down the street. It's been a year. I moved in last February and we started renovating it in like December and didn't have much time at all. So it was a rough time for me. That's why I wasn't posting a lot. I wish I posted about it and like documented it more, but I honestly didn't have a lot of time before I had to move in. So now I don't struggle paying my rent, thank goodness. And if I can get my YouTube channel taken off, that would be amazing, because guess what? I just got laid off again. Yeah. When you work manufacturing jobs, you tend to get laid off because they just don't need you anymore. You're a temporary seasonal worker, whatever it is, they always have their reasons. But I think people also don't like me because I'm a lady. So working in, I know it sounds dumb, but working in like production style environments, me going in there is kind of like, creates some interesting situations. I will say that. I have a lot of stories that I can tell. I will say that. If you guys have any ideas of stories you want me to tell, let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this far. If you did watch this far, leave a dog emoji in the comments. Oh, I just like knocked her in the face. Leave a little dog emoji in the comments. Okay, I know there isn't like Chihuahua dog emojis, but there's dog emojis you can use. Thank you for sleeping so well in the background this whole time. Yes, you're such a good lady. Yes, you're such a good lady. Yeah, I love you. Yeah, leave a dog emoji if you watched this far. You're freaking amazing. Make sure to subscribe to my channel and tickle that little like button right there. It's right there. You could just like act like you're tickling it, and you could like act like you're tickling me, and then I would giggle. Okay. That got really weird. But yeah, subscribe and like this video. And then hit the notification bell and hit all notifications so that you're notified when I come out with new videos. She thinks this is weird that I'm talking like this. It is weird. Yes. Okay. Whatever you guys are doing, have a good day, good night, good evening. Bye, guys. I am affiliated with this mushroom company. They sell mushroom honey and mushroom chocolates, and it's legal to buy it online as long as it's legal in your state. I'm in Colorado, so it's legal for me to buy this mushroom honey. And like, I don't know, if you would like to trip, you can trip. But for me, I just like to take a little bit and microdose it. That's also what they recommend it for anyway. It's like medicinal, you know, properties. It's better to microdose. It's really nice to microdose. But anyway, yeah, I'll go grab it and I'll show you. This is my mushroom honey. Oh, her name is Honey. That's probably why she's getting excited. Yes. The company is called Psilocybin. And yeah, it says medicinal honey, reduce stress, balance mood, calm the mind. And I am now affiliated with them. Ooh, see, no wonder I took those off. Yikes. So you can, maybe I should have put them on though for this little ad read so that I look different. Boop. Psilocybin. It's actually really good. You can't tell, like, it's not like it's disgusting or anything. It's just, like they grind up the mushrooms into a powder and then they mix it in to the honey. And then you just take a little tiny bit on a spoon, and it's really nice. I like to say microdosing is like taking a happy pill. It's super nice. I love it. It's also recommended to take it with an empty stomach, which is interesting. I didn't really know that, but until I like read it one day and I was like, oh, okay, good to note. It's a very good company. It's something that I've wanted to tell you guys about for a long time, and it's something that has helped me, honestly. My last jar lasted me almost a year. I just bought this new jar and it will probably last me another year because I microdose it. So I don't take very much at once at all because you don't need to. But yeah, and you want to keep it in your fridge. And honey also stays good forever, so you don't need to worry about it going bad. It's awesome. Okay. That's the end of the ad read day. I'm not used to doing these. This is weird, but yeah. Thanks for watching this far. If you did, you guys are freaking awesome. Leave a mushroom in the comments if you watched this far because you are freaking amazing. Thank you so much. Bye, guys. Channel is sponsored by a website called Wildflower. For the rest of this ad read, I'm going to say sax, like saxophone, instead of the word that I need to say. So let's talk more about Wildflower Saxophone. They are a wellness company. First, I'll tell you about what I've purchased from there so far. Now, I will say, I bought this without having any experience with said item. I'll show you this side. The other thing that I purchased on their website are some period cups. They're silicone, and it's really great for if you want to reduce your carbon footprint in the environment. They are used for replacements in feminine products. But these period cups I got from Wildflower are really, really high quality. They're the perfect size for me. They have all different shapes and sizes on their website of period cups and toys. So let's get more into the website itself. Right off the bat, the website is extremely inclusive. I absolutely love it. That's the first thing that really drew me in to this website. Was not only do they talk about saxophone wellness, but they talk about inclusivity and how you can learn how to be more inclusive and things like that. Here's one example of something called the NB. If you scroll down, it will tell you what it is good for, what it's best used for, and if you scroll even more, you get some pretty detailed, pretty honest, and great reviews, which, I don't know, for me it's nice to see honest reviews on a website, but not only that, it's pretty dang entertaining to, if you never have, go through the reviews of saxophone toys. Yeah, that's pretty fun. Anyway, my favorite part about this website isn't even the toys and the inclusivity, it is the articles that they give you about saxophone education. It's so hard to keep remembering to say saxophone. You go to this tab, and there's tons of articles about gender, how-to guides, relationships, sax and body positivity, toys and tools, and my favorite I found, mental health. Super helpful. It's so wonderful to see an adult website that promotes saxophone wellness and education rather than just trying to throw stuff at you to buy constantly. Consider shopping around the site. Again, my affiliate link is in the description below. And if you can't spend money right now, I fully understand. Check out the site anyway and read the articles that they have to offer because it's never too late to learn new things. Purchase anything through my link, then I will get part of that commission, so you would be supporting me. Hello. Thank you for guys. That. Ow! Oh, my hip just popped so bad. I'm sure you heard it on camera, but whoa, that was a weird pop. Ow. I literally had to scream from that. Okay. All right. So, let me catch my breath. This shirt is very much hindering my ability to breathe. Okay.